Hello. The main scene you can immediately see in the Terminator Dark Fate. It is surprisingly politically correct. Feminist activists wouldn't have any complaints to it. Three women destroy terrible robot Rev-9 with no participation of men. Only old Terminator T-800s, who acts Arnold Schwarzenegger, helps them, but he is not a man in physical sense. And the movie is correct in one more aspect. Main hero Denis is a Mexican. Her enemy Rev-9 also is a Mexican. This is logically because half of the movie takes place in Mexico and he has to be unnoticeable from local residents. Evil Rebot kills Denis' brother and her father. At first, Denis is good for nothing and couldn't help her defenders, but gradually she obtains combat skills. And why the bad Rebot hunts on her? Did she give birth to a new leader of future people? No. Maybe she invented some super weapon against machines that destroys them in dust. There is also no. You never can guess. She just taught them to face with machines. Nobody could think up this plain scene before her. And they couldn't find another candidate for this role. No a military man, no a sportsman, no a sailor, no at least a policeman. No one person with strong will and combat skills, only a young girl was able to unite all of them. A scriptwriter can do everything to show his political correctness. Usually women don't show big brave in life, but in movies they easily exceed men in all respects. And it doesn't matter they have little physical conditions for fighting and war. New fashion in Hollywood ignores the human nature. Producers promote women despite of common sense. Well, what about the script? Oh, here everything is traditional. It goes the same way. Two robots, almost the same time, arrive from future to present. Good and strong girl Grace and bad guy Rev-9. The bad guy has to kill Denis and the good girl defends her. Rev-9, as usual, is a very strong robot of modern model. There is no protection against him. Nothing can save you. The best examples of a contemporary weapon are useless and can only restrain Rev-9 for a little time. Whatever you do with him, shoot, burn, blow, grind to dust, he will live again. In critical situations, he turns into liquid state, just a splash of something like mercury, and then recovers to his previous appearance. This liquid weapon was initially used in the first film and exploits so far. The good robot can't do the same. He is also strong and powerful. He fights with the bad one as equal. Not yields in strength, but isn't able to transform in liquid state. So people have to use their brains and invent new ways to deal with the bad robot, and the good one helps them in that. They have slim chances on success, but finally people win. because the machine is silly and a human is very inventive. And it is good that the bad robot almost never makes traps for humans. He just stupidly chases them and endures everything they do to him. He is not very smart, speaking briefly, but he has all arms like swords and uses them to kill his enemy soundlessly. This time, film creators gave him one new feature. Now he can divide on two parts, as in that old advertising about 2-in-1. In difficult situations, the bad robot divides and multiples his quantity in two. That helps him very much. Though the second part of the robot can't take a human image and remains a metal skeleton, but for fighting it is enough. As I have noticed, second part of the robot is sillier than the first one and can do only support functions. For this reason, it joins with the first part when danger goes away. But the good robot from future now is not a machine, in fact, and not a man too. It is a girl whose name is Grace. She is only half a robot and for another half is a human being. Thus, she has advantage of flexible human thinking. In the future, she once was badly injured and agreed to implant in herself some metal parts that made her half robot. On her skin, we can see scars from a surgery. She competes with Sarah Connor for custody on the knee and at first shows hostility to her. Grace is strong, but in fighting quickly weakens. She needs special feeding that made from medical means, which she injects with a surgeon. If she has feeding, she can fight with the bad robot. When it goes to end, she falls down and almost dies. In such moments, she can't manage without humans' help. To her luck, such feeding is accessible in any pharmacy. Now it is time to return to main scene. When we go to see Terminator movie, who we want to see first of all? You are right, Arnold Schwarzenegger. His brutal face that hides a soft machine heart gave him hundreds of millions of fans all over the world. But in this movie there is no such face. Arnold has grown a beard and became to look like a writer Hemingway or a university professor. His hard face expression disappeared somewhere. He looks almost dreamy. If they are not his athletic shape, red light in his eye and tore skin from a metal arm, then wouldn't much left from previous Arnold. There is another change. The image of T-800 became more complicated. Now he is not only a good guy but also a bad guy too. He was bad in the past. After saving the world by Sarah Connor and her son John, Arnold, who was sent from the future, managed to kill John at present and became a mortal enemy of Sarah to the rest of her life. But as Skynet in the future nevertheless was destroyed, T-800 lost connection with it and began to exist independently. From time to time, he learned about new robots that machines sent to the present and sent SMS to Sarah with their location and constant words for John. She arrived to that places and killed them. It went on many years up to beginning of the film. Here Sarah has met half-robot Grace and Mexican Denis, and saved both from death when the bad reboot almost overcame them. Arnold spent all these years quietly and unnoticeably. He lived in a lonely home among forest and took name Carl. He married for Meskin to Mexican woman Maria, who were earlier beaten by her husband, and adopted her son. He earned money for living by sewing curtains. Of course, the reboot was able to manage without such things, but camouflage. His marriage with Maria was a fiction, but Maria's son became to call him father. These details have taste of a comedy, but we can do nothing. It was a wish of movie creation. Escaping from the bad reboot, the women decided that this SMS arrived from some friend who can help and went to him. But Carl turned out to be a friend, not for all of them. Sarah was amazed when saw a murderer of her son. She wanted to kill him at once, but Grace prevented her. Carl admitted that he assassinated John, but also said he now has changed. He takes decisions by himself, feels sympathy to humans, tries to be similar to them, and is ready to fight on their side against Rev 9. He collected weapons for future battles, and now he and woman can use it. They together teach Denis to shoot. Nevertheless, Sarah warns Arnold that she personally going to kill him when all is over, and he answered that understand her. Humanization of the machine looks like humanization of animals in children's movies, but okay. Sarah's acquaintance militant provides her with a secret electronic superweapon that is able to destroy the bad reboot. But it would be too simple, and Rev 9 damages the weapon by bullets, and it becomes useless. Now the escapees have to hope only on themselves. After numbers of breathtaking tricks on ground, sky, and under the water, they get to a machine hole of a power station. Denis, who already learned to shoot and got used with the role of a leader, decided that it is enough to run and the final battle will be here. And the place is really good. There is many space and huge machines. But they can't destroy the liquid robot in any way. Beaten by a crowbar, separated on parts by a spinning chain of grace, he again collects in one hole. Even after he was tucked into a working turbine, Rev 9 again appears from it, in a rather battered condition without a leg and skin, but still strong enough to kill all of them, who also were pretty hard. Grace is lying badly injured. Carl traditionally lost his arm, and the rest are beaten and exhausted. Grace says Denis to extract a power supply from her body, though removing the battery will mean her death. Denis has to insert the battery into an eye of the bad robot that it burned out his neuron system. In this place, we learn that Denis and Grace have already met in the future. Denis saved young Grace from marauders, and now she sacrifices her life to save Denis. Denis does so. The bad robot burns, but very slowly, and still is alive. He tries to tear out the battery, but Carl doesn't allow him. They fall from a great height and burn out together. Sarah Connor wasn't forced to kill the Jones murderer. Only she and Denis remain alive. In final episode, they can see Grace, who is a child and plays with other kids. Denis says that she wouldn't allow her to die anymore. That means the future has options. A lot of variances of the future has bored us already in previous movie Genesis. But it is inevitable to make new stories about a reboot from future. They will appear every 4 or 5 years until demand exists, because the theme is good and new spectators grow up who interested in it. Dark Fate found it a process of branching of a franchise. Dark Fate, produced by James Cameron, is continuing Terminator 1 and 2, but not 3, 4, and 5, that stay separately. Maybe some other branches will appear further, and we have to draw genealogic tree to understand who is from where. It is rather difficult to do a review of such movies, because there is nothing to explain. All the meaning lays on surface. People can lose only some technical details. One can only compare them with previous films, emphasizing strong and weak sides, but we wouldn't do so. It is useless to find numerous shortcomings and logical gaps. If we are talking about such genre as fantastic, they are inevitable. We have to agree with them and live further. Want a fascinated side? Then enjoy curve logic. More important is another thing. If there was created appropriate atmosphere. Yes, it was. The movie is quite good if you don't wait from it too much. It isn't a drama. There isn't complicated characters, mysteries, contradictions, and growth of heroes in positive or negative direction. Main scene is staginess, and it was achieved. The movie is suited for light entertainment. It slightly tickles the nerves, slightly makes us scared and amused by technical progress. We feel sympathy about fate of heroes. But the half of the movie that took place in Mexico seems to me not a good idea. Translation from Spanish by subs above the screen irritated me. Couldn't they speak English from the beginning? Of course, Terminator 1 and 2 were better. They are perfect. But films 3 and 4 are worse, and this comforts us. Nevertheless, our bad news is that Terminator 5, which had a lot of the blame, is better than 6. It has a richer script. There is no Mexico, tricks are more realistic, and some humor exists, but you can't say that difference is radical, though it overcomes 6 approximately on 30%, and this is pity. If you like this review, press like, subscribe the channel, and we will have many interesting reviews further. Thanks for your attention.